Hey, what's up, family? This is your boy, Stacy, a.k.a. Be Unstoppable Prayer. I am in the virtual studio, in my own studio right now at this moment. I want to give you a quick update of what's going to happen in 2024. Starting in 2024, Spit to the Beat podcast will be only doing live broadcasts. Yes, all my guests, whether it be virtual or live in the studio physically with me, we will be going live on Facebook, on my Facebook channels, as well as my YouTube channel, Spit to the Beat. So if you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Go to YouTube, type in Spit, S-P-I-T, the number 2, D-A-B-E-A-T, and become a subscriber. Hit that like button and that notification bell so you can keep up with all my latest episodes of my show that will be displayed on YouTube, from the video clips to the full interview. So definitely want to check that out. Again, I want to thank all my listeners and my sponsors for 2023. Thank you so much for helping me grow this podcast. And I look forward to you all joining me, my listeners, as well as my sponsors, to be a part of Spit to the Beat podcast as we take it to the next level. Again, just a quick announcement. We will be going live only in 2024 throughout the year. If God say the same, I want to thank you for joining me. You will see the bloopers and the blunders and all that behind the scenes stuff as we set up and do a broadcast and we end a broadcast throughout the year of 2024. I really want to invite you into my world, that you can see the behind the scenes, the before and the after. So that's what it's all about going in 2024. I'm not embarrassed by going live and making mistakes. I want you to be a part of that as well. So you can laugh with me and leave your comments and stuff like that. Also, you will be able to call into the show. If you have a question for my guest or for myself, you'll be able to call into the show. We will provide that number for you as we are doing a broadcast. Thank you so much for a great year in 2023. I'm looking forward to an awesome year in 2024 with Spit to the Beat podcast and with the guests that I have lined up for the next year to come. You don't want to miss it. Thank you again for being a part of my show. I love y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.
Attention.
Spit to the Beat.
Podcast.
It's all about inside the music industry.
Nobody do it better.
And welcome to the Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacy, a.k.a. Be Unstoppable Prayer. And we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Make sure you go to my Facebook channel, Stacy Be Unstoppable Prayer, or Stacy Spit to the Beat Prayer. Log in right now. You can catch and watch us right now. We are live on Facebook as well as on YouTube, Spit to the Beat. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. I really would appreciate your support. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I got a very special guest in the house with me. This man right here, I have known on him for a short time, but I call him a friend now. This gentleman he's been doing the music thing ever since 10, maybe 9 years old. That's what he's been telling me, but for a long time in his life. And he has graced me and privileged me to join the studio of Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm talking about a 3-time Grammy Award nominated artist, vocal, singer, drummer, guitarist, all of that. And now for a Grammy Award winner for the best traditional blues album in 2022. I want to thank my guest for joining me today. My man, he's in the building with me. As soon as I can get him on, I want to make sure y'all got that. Okay, we good? Good, all right. There we go. Brother Cedric Burnside, how you doing, sir?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on. Look, let's just jump right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this man is a Grammy Award-winning artist. He has paid his dues. He has done his thing, and He's here today to share with us his testimony, his trials and error. That's what we all about here at Spit to the Beat podcast, teaching my audience about the music industry and entertainment industry. So again, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, man.
Tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, for those who don't know, my name is Cedric Burnside, and I've been playing music, might as well say my whole life. I started out, my big daddy, R.L. Burnside. I don't know how many people know him, but he got a pretty good following out there. But he did a bunch of house parties when I was young. Say about 6, 7 years old. I grew up them doing house parties. People would come from miles around, man, just to jam out to that music,
Yeah.
And I was about 6, 7 years old, and I would sit there and watch them. I would be one of many, grandchildren just sitting there, in amazement. The other kids would be jumping around, kicking up dust, and I'd just be focusing on that music. Like, man, I want to do that. I want to play that music, And when my big daddy and my dad and uncles, they will, take a break from playing the music. And I finally built up the courage to just get up there and jump on the drums. And I'm sure I sounded bad, for the first time, but it would be people say, man, look at that little young boy. He gonna be good someday, and I just kept on doing it until I found, a little rhythm. And that was about, 6, 7 years old. And around the age of 10, I was good enough to play in the juke joints.
Who taught you?
Well, my dad was a drummer.
Uh-huh.
His name was Calvin Jackson.
Okay.
He passed 2015. There was a guy named Kenny Kimbrough. He's still living today. And another guy named Artemis LaSure. He's still living today. And they all was, from around my area. So I used to watch them as a kid, to just kind of, learn what I could off them. None of them, not even my dad could ever just set me down and show me something because they didn't stay still that long. They was all over the place.
Right.
So I would, I would watch them when I can and try to mimic what they do until I just got it, and
it's almost like self-taught.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so when, they didn't show up, at the juke joint, which was a lot.
They left you hanging.
I had to be there, so I had to do what I did. I didn't know, how to play like they played, but I could play good enough to keep the beat, and make the music sound good.
Yeah.
And my uncle Gary Burnside, he would play the bass. And so when we get ready to play the music, if the police come to check the place out, they would have to hide us behind the beer cooler and, to keep the music going. And if we had left and went home, they didn't have no band. So they would give us a piece of chicken or something or a burger or something while we sitting there behind the beer cooler. And when the police leave, we'll get back on the instruments and start playing music again,
So one of the benefits was eating good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you had an early passion of music, growing up in it, like you said, the juke joints and stuff like that. Let's bring it a little forward now, early age and stuff like that. When did you decide to take it to the next level as far as saying that, hey, I might want to make this a career?
Well, to be honest, Stacey, I watched my big daddy for so long, and I went on my first professional tour with him at age 13.
Okay.
And drums was my first instrument. And I always knew that I wanted to play this music for the rest of my life. I knew that at a young age, and when I started playing, doing my touring with my big daddy professionally, he opened the door for the Burnside family as well as, other great musicians who's out there that love this style of music, and when I started touring with him, I knew that, this was my start. This was my time to do what I need to do to, make my name, be out there.
Right.
And so I played drums behind him until he was, you know, sick and couldn't really play no more. He passed 2005. And you know, I was you know, in my early 20s, and I was just thinking to myself, like, man, what am I gonna do? Because I wasn't playing guitar at the time. I was playing drums. And there was a guy playing with us, a white guy playing with us named Kenny Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So when my big daddy got sick and couldn't travel too much anymore, he got really ill around about 2003, and he had to stop traveling. So me and Kenny Brown went out and did our thing, you know, and for a couple of years. Then my big daddy passed, and he went his own way, and then I had to find another guitar player. So I said to myself, I was like, Lord, I am going to have to learn how to play this guitar, you know,
Okay.
because you know, I either had to sound out the music with my mouth, and they didn't, you know, barely could catch it. And they were like, well, what key is it in? And I don't know. I can't tell you. I can sound it out to you.
Yeah.
And so we finally, you know, come to some kind of, you know, agreement with how it sound. I said, you know what, that's close enough. And we did it, you know. So once I learned how to play the guitar, then I could show them, you know, what I wanted to play and what I wanted to sound like. Because when I learned how to play the guitar, I wasn't, you know, great at it. I was just good enough to play the song and show them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to change that. You know, I had to really get focused and you know, focus in on that guitar and really bring my sound in. And by me being around my big daddy for so long, his sound, you know, just captured my heart. That
And-
old school sound captured my heart.
And that's the thing I want to talk about your sound a little bit. Tell me, what is hill country blues?
That's a good question. Well, it's really it's native to our you know, part of the world. You know, I was actually born in Memphis, on the road. I got to tell you this little story before I get there. My mom was pregnant with me, and they were on their way back to Mississippi, and her water broke.
Mm-hmm.
And her water broke in Memphis. So I had to be born in Memphis. And I was here for 3 or 4 days, and then I went on back to Mississippi, you know. But you know, how I got to the point where I'm at now is just by, you know, listening at my big daddy, and his sound captured my heart. And in our area, the music called hill country blues because we in the hills.
Right.
And so the hill country is, you know, the style of the music. And so people get it mixed up with Delta, you know, like Clydesdale.
Yes.
That's the Delta. You know, they still do the 1-4-5s and, you know, all of that like regular blues. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but in the hill country, my big daddy and cats like Junior Kimbrough, you know, they didn't use the 1-4-5 that much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made it different from any other blues. It's because they would probably stay on the one for the whole song just about, you know, or they would have these little weird changes in there that made it just totally different. And people would be like, wow, man, like, what kind of blues is this? You know?
Right.
So it had its own little thing, you know,
Okay.
and that's what made it stand out. I always tell the people, you know, it's the unorthodox rhythm that really makes it stand out from any other blues.
Okay,
You know?
cool. Hey, hold tight. We're gonna come back and talk some more about your music. We're gonna get into this Grammy, winning this Grammy and all that stuff. Okay.
All right. All right.
Hey, this is Stacey, aka Beat Unstoppable Per You with Spit to the Beat podcast. Would you like to be my guest if you're a singer, songwriter, musician, producer, or promoter? Give me a call at 901-341-6777 or email me at myguest@spittothebeat.com. All right, we are back to Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Be Unstoppable Per Year, and we are live in the studio with my very special guest joining me, Mr. Cedric Burnside, Grammy Award winner, artist, all of that. He's joining me in the studio, man, and he's telling us a whole lot about his past and coming up into the music industry. Want to get into a little bit of talking about this Grammy winning that you won. Tell us a little bit about that. How did it come about? You know, the whole 9 yards with that.
Well, I have to say I'm very grateful and thank the Lord for everything. But just, playing this music for so many years, people started to get the hang of what Hill Country Blues was and started to like it, for what it was. And, after playing with my Big Daddy all those years and him opening the door, he won a lot of awards, but he never won a Grammy. He did get nominated for a Grammy, but he never won one. And so just being the Burnside that won a Grammy for the first time, this is the first Grammy for anybody of Hill Country Blues.
Wow.
Yeah, anybody of Hill Country Blues, this is the first Grammy that was ever won, for our little region, so
it was a big celebration.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I thank the Lord for everything, and I always tell him this just one of many. I'm working on the second one.
That's awesome. Let's hear the music that you won the Grammy on. What's it entitled again? The album. I'll be trying. My bad. I got you.
Got so much music, man. I have to think about it. Yeah, I'll be trying.
Here we go.
Things I used to do, I try not to do no more. I used to go, I tried not to go no more. Words I used to say, I tried not to say no more. People I used to hang around, try not to hang around no more. I be trying, but I'm on you, man. I be trying to do the best that I can. I be trying, but I'm only human. I be trying to do the best that I can. Things I used to do, I try not to do no more. Place I used to go.
But there you have it. Grammy Award winner in the studio, Spit to the Beat podcast. My guest, Cedric Burnside. Now he's going to bless us with a little solo right here in the studio for the first time. Let's join in and watch him play this. Take it away, bro.
All right. Get this thing tuned. This is a song I wrote. I try to write all my music, but this is a song I wrote called Please Tell Me, Baby.
Okay.
Please tell me, baby. I don't know who. Please tell me, baby. Yeah. Of course, I don't know what I did wrong.
But I want you home, yeah. I want you home. Pray for me, baby. Pray for me. Pray for me, baby. Yeah. Say a prayer for me. Oh, if you don't come back, he ain't there for me. Yeah. He ain't there for me. Woo. I want you home. I want you home. I want you home. I want you home. I want you home.
In the building, baby.
Well.
Grammy Award winner, Cedric Burnside, gracing the studio Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm super excited, man. That was awesome, man.
Thank you,
That was
man.
awesome.
Thank
That
you.
was awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, how did I know you said you got new music coming out next year in April, right?
Mhm.
So what can your fans expect?
Well, it's more great hill country blues, bunch of energy. It's gonna make you dance a little bit. Excuse me. Also gonna make you think a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy to put out this new music, man. I think this is one of the best albums that I have wrote so far. So yeah, look for it. And the title of the album, I can say it now. Finally.
Okay.
It's gonna really, really, make people feel good. It's called Hill Country Love.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
How many tracks we gonna have on this album?
It's about 14.
About 14.
About 14
Woo,
tracks.
Getting a full album.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I always encourage my guests to tell a little bit about you coming up in the industry and the
Mhm.
difficulties that you face. What did you go through to get to some of the memorable moments that kind of affect you a little bit to get to where you're at now?
That's a great question, man. Well, I took a lot of constructive criticism that didn't seem, too constructive to me once I started hearing it, But I played with people that I didn't really want to play for. I did things I really didn't want to do. And it was sometimes where, I wanted to stop. I wanted to quit. Sometimes me and the guitar players didn't click, and
Mhm.
I'm real, adamant with time. I like to be on time, and then I had people that didn't like to be on time, that would be 10, 15, 20 minutes late. And that was something that I just didn't like to deal with, and it was something that I, had to deal with, because at the time I wasn't playing guitar, and that was the only guitar player that I could take with me. So things like that really made me want to, just stop doing what I was doing, even though I love it, it's my passion. And then there was times when, you with the record labels that didn't really, feel what you was doing, the record label that wanted to change your music. I am who I am. My music is raw, and the way I write it is the way I want it.
Was it hard keeping that identity? Like you just said, the music industry always trying to change the artist.
Yeah.
And tell the artist this is what's working.
Yeah.
And most of the cases they're wrong.
Well, they are. Well, when you sign an artist, you should let that artist be them, who they are, pure from their heart. But you have I have been with record companies that want to change what you do to sound like what they want it to sound like, instead of sounding like what you sound like actually. I have had a record company to tell me, well, I want to put a horn on this, or I want to put harmonica on this, I want to put some background singers on this. And I was like, well, that's not what my music is. I don't really think background singers should be on this song. I don't think harmonica should be on this song. But in order for you to get that deal that you want, you have to kind of bend a little bit. You have to kind of go 50-50. And so that's the way it goes, So
I guess especially when they putting up all the money.
Yeah, but still, if this just mean the way I feel about it. If they like your music and they want to sign you, they should still let you be you, because that's the reason they sign you, because you are you. They heard you,
Right.
But that's just the way I feel about it. So I for a couple of years, around about 3 years, I did my own thing, just independent. Didn't go to a record label or anything. And I collaborated with my uncle Gary and another guitar player that I used to play with named Trenton Ayers.
You was determined not to quit.
Oh yeah, I was determined not to quit, man.
Right.
And so we did this album called Descendants of Hill Country. And that was the first album. I think that was 2015. And that was the first Grammy nomination that we got. And I was independent. And that took me a long way, being an independent artist, without a label, and being nominated for a Grammy.
Okay.
And so that kind of, put a little fire under my feet, and, made me want to do it more. And so around about 2018, I was nominated for a Grammy again, for Ben County Relic. And then I finally won on 2022.
Awesome.
But I'll be trying.
Yeah. Well, hold tight one more time. We're going to take another little short break, and we're going to be right back. I want to talk more about the your upcoming tour you're going to have coming in 2024. And also, what would you tell artists? You kind of talked a little bit about it just then, but I want to come back and give a little inspiration to potential up-and-coming artists, male and female. Okay? Hey, this is Stacy, a.k.a. Be Unstoppable Per You. Thank you for listening to our show, Spit to the Beat Podcast. If you would like to be a sponsor, visit our website at www.spittothebeat.com and click the support tab and leave a donation. We really would appreciate it. Thank you again for listening. Also, catch every episode Thursday morning at 8 a.m. And we're back to Spit to the Beat Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, a.k.a. Be Unstoppable Per You. Again, joining me in the studio, my guest, brother Cedric Burnside, Grammy Award winner, artist, vocals, drummer, what else you play? But all that encompassing to what your talent is today, man. I'm sure that you have been a blessing to so many people with your music. You did a show. You said it was in a cave in Franklin, Tennessee.
Franklin, Tennessee.
And that place bring in a lot of artists from all over the United States as well as international, right?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
how was that experience playing there?
Well,
Was it your first time?
it was.
Okay.
It was my first time playing in the cave. Period. You know.
Yeah, I said okay.
But I have to say it was a beautiful experience, man. Just sitting there and you know, being in the cave and looking at how they you know, sod up the cave with the chairs and just with the sound. You would think that the sound would be, you know, awful
Right.
in the cave,
Just
but
bouncing all over the place.
yeah, you would think it would be that way, but it was actually a pretty amazing sound.
Mhm.
You know, they I don't know what they did to, you know, make the sound good in there, but they did a lot of work.
There's a hell of a lot of acoustic treatment they did.
They did a lot of work, man, and it sounded awesome, and the crowd loved it.
Mhm.
And you can tell that the crowd is used to going there every year because every year is packed.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was a beautiful time.
Did they invite you back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. They did. But you know, in a lot of places you can't go back you know, twice, like back to back.
Okay.
You have
That'll
to
work.
rotate, you know, they let other artists come in, and then the year after, then they'll, you know, regroup on the artists that have been in there. But yeah, they did invite me back.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great. Let's talk about your tour you got coming up in 2024. So kicking off in what month and for how long?
Yeah, well, I hit the road around about the end of February,
Where will you be
beginning
going?
of March. I'm doing a Northeast tour the end of February, going all around New York and Connecticut and all those places. Then I'm coming, you know, I come back home for just maybe about a week, and then I go down south, you know,
Okay.
New Orleans, you know, Jackson, Mississippi, all them places. I think we're gonna hit Hattiesburg, and make our way around to Birmingham, Alabama, you know, and then come home for, you know, just a little bit again, and then my album drops in April,
Okay.
and then I'll be going to do the album release tour.
Awesome. Awesome.
What-
Is this out of the country? Are there some tours out of the country this year?
Yeah, there's some tours coming up, but most of my out of the country tours will be going around about the fall time.
Okay.
I do go to Europe a couple of times next year.
Mhm.
Well, actually, I go to Europe in May for one time, and then again, I think around about September.
Okay. Awesome. Look here, man. I want to thank you for joining me on Spit to the Beat podcast and
You're welcome, man.
gracing
Thanks
the
for having me.
studio with your music, award-winning music and everything. And I wish you well in 2024 with your new album coming out in
Thank you.
April.
To
And
God be the glory.
To God be the glory. There you go. There you have my guy, Cedric Burnside, in the studio with me.
Right.
Thank you once again, bro.
You're welcome, man.
We're awesome. Look, if you want to be a guest on my show, give me a call, 901-341-6777, Spit to the Beat podcast, or email me at myguest@spittothebeat.com. I would love to have you on my show if you're an artist, singer, songwriter, musician, or entertainer, whatever part you are in the industry. Give me a call. Again, 901-341-6777, or email me at myguest@spittothebeat.com. You can check all my latest episodes again here on Facebook as well as YouTube. Make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you again for joining us on Spit to the Beat podcast, and we're out. Thank you.
Yeah, you really do, man. That was good, man.
Yeah, that was